Welcome friends. Let I'm bringing some of the FAQ on electronic invoice, e-invoice. Some of the simple questions answer on electronic invoice. And that would help to the entrepreneur and the business owner or the taxpayer to understand why electronic invoice is important. Within the capacity of my knowledge, I'll try to bring and explain you that why electronic invoice is important. What you need to do here is that please watch the video till the end. This would help you to understand how electronic invoice, why electronic invoice, to whom electronic invoice, and what are the benefit of the electronic invoice. So let me start. Electronic invoice, it is nothing, it is some of the additional requirement that you have to fulfill in your taxable invoice. What is the additional requirement that you have to fulfill? Two elements must be in your invoice: IRN number and QR code. IRN number, invoice reference number, and QR code. So what you have to do here is that you have to generate the taxable invoice as per the GSTR rule, invoicing rule, and you have to additionally add these two elements, IRN number and QR code. Your invoice will be qualified as an electronic invoice. What is IRN and QR code? The process of IRN and QR code is that government is able to see your invoice, your transactions on real-time basis. It is where your invoice is integrated through the API which are being managed by the government. So what you need to do to generate the electronic invoice means how you will be able to generate the electronic invoice. It's very simple. You do not need to do anything. What you have to do here is that you have to approach to your IT department, ask them to integrate the ERP software with the API of the government. When you are able to integrate your ERP system with the API will allow you to generate the IRN number and QR code through the help of the JSON file. That is one of the files where the internal data would be automatically floated through your ERP system. This is how the mechanism of electronic invoice is generating. Now what you have to do here is that you have to make sure that your system is integrated with your API. What is the benefit of the electronic invoice? Like I have told you that electronic invoice ERP system is integrated with the API, connected with the API. Now there are two modes, offline and online. When you are going to the offline mode, in offline you would have the options to go into the GST portal and generate the electronic invoice by filling the manual JSON file and upload through the government portal. In the online mode, your ERP system is connected with the API system, so you would be able to generate the invoice and whatever the additional information that you wanted in the invoice, like logo, bank detail, QR code for your bank payment, all those features that you can add in your invoice template. And this is the benefit of the online invoice generations. Now benefit, you would be able to auto-populate it and get the data while you're filing the GSTR1. So in electronic invoice, all those informations are available in your portal. You simply go download the detail and you'll find that all this detail, wherever what the bracket is for the GSTR1, these informations are available by the, and government is allowing those data to you to use and after reconciliations. This is how the important systems are. So while you are uploading the data for GSTR form filing, you would be see that the auto-populated data are available. You simply go and validate those data, reconcile those data, that how many invoices you have generated, how many invoices are in the system. If you find that the both invoices, both transactions are matching, you simply go and file the return. Number one benefit. Number two benefit, your customer will get more satisfied. There will be no any chances of errorness. There would be no any chances of the corrections of the invoice, because what electronic invoice you have generated, your customer will easily able to get the input tax benefit, because there is no any questions of the input tax credit in your customer GST 2 and 2B. In electronic invoice, there is no any manual. Your system is integrated with the API, so the customer is easily able to get the benefit of ITC. Your customer will be satisfied more. You will not have more reconciliation pattern in your GSTR1. What you have to do here is that you have to focus on only the GSTR2 and 2B for input reconciliation. For GSTR1, where outward tax supply, your reconciliations has already been done through the system. You simply upload the data, extract the data, and reconcile and file it. What are the transactions that would be covered under electronic invoice? So the transactions are the invoice, debit note, and credit notes. Invoice, debit note, and credit note. Other than this, if there is any transactions, that would not be covered under electronic invoice. Similar to this, transactions, B2B, business transactions, export, invoice to a special economic zone, या business to special economic zone, या special economic zone developers, or deemed export. These are the transactions which are being covered under electronic invoice. Other than this, all transactions are as per normal what you are doing under GST. For these transactions, you have to issue the invoice, debit note, and credit notes. When you have the commercial credit note, that would be not covered under electronic invoice. You would have the exempted supply, nil-rated supply, non-GST supply, that would not be covered under electronic invoice. So these are the transactions, the B2B transactions, the export transactions with a special economic zone developers, and deemed exports. These all are the transactions that would be covered under electronic invoice. What are the eligible limit and to whom the electronic invoice is applicable? This is one of the important questions that you need to know. Electronic invoice is applicable to the certain class of taxpayer whose turnover are crossing the eligible limit. Currently turnover is the 20 crore. So if any taxpayer whose turnover is crossing 20 crore in any one of the financial year starting from 17-18 to the next 3 financial year, the taxpayer has to mandatorily apply the electronic invoice. That is more important to understand. And this is compulsory. When electronic invoice is applicable, then you would have to manage the electronic invoice and compliance through the electronic invoice for near all your business for the futures. Because once your turnover is increased, it might not be that your turnover is decreased and you will be out from the electronic invoice. Electronic invoice is applicable for every SSC, every taxpayer? No. This is applicable to whom only? These transactions which turnover is crossing the eligible limit. Current eligible limit is 20 crore. Electronic invoice is applicable to the certain class of taxpayer, that is correct. What happens if SSC or taxpayer is not complying with the electronic invoice? It means the turnover is crossing the eligible limit and SSC or taxpayer is not issuing the invoice as per the electronic invoice norms. In that case, you will issue the invoice to your customer. While you are issuing the invoices to your customer will reject the invoice. Your business might be discontinue, your revenue might be decreased in that case. Department or authority may also issue the notice to you that your turnover is crossing the eligible limit. Why you are not issuing the electronic invoice? It is compulsory applicable on you. The department can also issue the so-called notice to you and ask for the reply that why your registrations will not be cancelled, and might be that you have to reply within 15 days from the date of receiving the notice. So electronic invoice in broadly terms is more important for the SSC, for the taxpayer, and for doing the easy business. Once you are registered under electronic invoice, you would not need to worry more about the tax litigations, because once you are integrated with the electronic invoice, you are easily able to generate the invoice, providing the same to the customer, getting realization from your customer timely. Your business will get more smooth. So being an entrepreneur or as a business owner, what you need to do here is that you have to make sure that if you are crossing the turnover of 20 crore in any of the financial year, starting from 17-18 to the next 3 financial year, you must register your business under electronic invoice. You must issue the electronic invoice, and that would help you to compliance with the GST. Electronic invoice is the future for the India's business. Electronic invoice is one of the core vehicle for the government, and this engine will provide more opportunity, more control, more dynamic way of approaching to the taxpayer by the government, auto populations of data, issuing the notices if there is any mismatchings, all the related compliance and all the related notices that government may be able to issue very easily, and you as a taxpayer might be able to compliance very effectively and efficiently. So make sure if it is applicable on you, you are complying with the electronic invoice and issuing the invoices to your customer as per the e-invoice mode. This will help you to run your business more and grow your business effectively. This is Singh signing out. Until we meet again, thank you. Thank you very much.